Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing very well. I want to welcome you to our 5th hour language class. I am Mrs. Tanya Phillips, and I call them my goobers because that's just my name. Don't please take it any other way than that. And they have worked very hard preparing an acrostic poem for you from the interview that they have already had when they were talking with you. The poem itself, they're going to let us know what they call you. They may call you Grandma. They may call you Mima. They may have called you Grandma just for the poem because they don't want us to know that they call you Mima or Papa. That's kind of, I left that up to them. So you'll hear some really, really interesting facts about things they probably would never have thought about had you not had an opportunity to share with them. So I thank you for that very much. They had a good time doing it that I can tell. They're getting pretty good at looking like they like it even if they don't kind of scenario, which that's kind of how I was raised. So fortunately or unfortunately, that it kind of carries over into them, which they've already been raised very nicely. So Mrs. White has been gracious enough to let us use her library once again, and she pretty much originated this several years ago, and I've adopted it into our classroom to get it going that direction. If you all would sign in before you leave, or if you haven't already, that would be great. If you want to clap at the end, that will give them all a chance to get through and have a chance to visit with you. That'll be great. You can clap whenever you wish. They chose to wait till the end so everyone had a chance to go through it. They don't know this, but the order that they gave me the poem, they know now, is the order that they're in. So, without further ado, here we go. Thank you for coming.
Good afternoon. Acrostic poem by Jalen Scrivener for my grandpa. Going camping and fishing at Colorado when he was 13. Ran a paper route and learned how to be a businessman. At Hoytna, Kansas, James Lee Scrivener was born on August 2nd, 1948. Never did I know my grandpa could drive a tractor at age 12. Does remember the assassination of John F. Kennedy, November 22nd, 1963. Put peanuts in Coca-Cola and drank it was what his friends did for fun. Always for fun rode bikes, and for hobbies he collected stamps. Acrostic poem for my grandma. Going to the movies for 50 cents, and her favorite movie star was Audrey Murphy. Remembers the assassination of John F. Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963. A favorite book of hers was Trixie Bell. Never wore jeans, always wore dresses. Did feed goats, pigs, rabbits, meat, and chickens. My grandma was born in Watauga, Oklahoma on November 9th, 1950. Always for fun rode bikes, and for hobbies she sewed.
Acrostic poem for my papa by Spencer Kinsey. Played ball, worked on projects, played with toy cars and electric trains. Always independent, didn't pay attention to trends. Productions were 25 cents back then. Away to Indiana and Kentucky for longest trip. Flew for the first time to go see relatives. Wayne Elvin Kinsey was born on June 5th, 1933 in 310 Flint, Alva, Oklahoma. Alive during World War II and many other historical events such as 9/11 and Hurricane Katrina. Years of age is 83, has 4 children and 8 grandchildren. Enjoys aviation, mechanics, and spends countless hours working on projects. Thank you.
This is my acrostic poem for my Nana Alice by Harley Bunny. Not remembering her longest trip, but however, she went to Medicine Lodge, stayed at her aunt's ranch, where she got to ride horses and got new clothes. As a kid, she was called Block Kids because she did almost anything outside, from football to swimming to riding bikes. No actor was better than John Wayne because he was a well-rounded actor and he was her hero. A big historical event was the Vietnam War. Also remember the assassination of President Kennedy. As for now, My Nana's hobbies are to sew, read, and paint. Love my grandma, but she wore some funny clothes like bell bottoms and other. I couldn't think of a better day than when the greatest grandma was born, October 27th. Caught on a screen, my grandma and her family watched the first spaceship go to the moon. Enjoys a new book. Every couple weeks, when she was a kid, it costed 25 cents to go see a movie. Thank you.
Acrostic poem by Trinity Smith for my grandma Jeannie. Jeannie was born on April 17, 1954, in Alva, Oklahoma. Every time Sally Field was in a movie at the theater, my grandma went. Art was her favorite hobby. She also loved being with her friends, performing in shows, and cooking with her mom. Nancy Drew series was her favorite books. Never knew there would be an assassination of John F. Kennedy. In the 1960s, the trends were go-go boots and miniskirts. Everyone would go to the movies for 25 cents. Thank you.
Acrostic poem by Zach Thomas for my grandpa Don. Got to go to his aunt's house for vacation early summer. Riding to Woodward, going to Fort Supply Lake for the vacation with the family. And his favorite actor is Clint Eastwood when movies were $1 per person or $1.25 by carload. Never did he know there'd be a Cuban Missile Crisis. Don Edward Thomas is his name, and he was born on January 6, 1949 in Woodward, Oklahoma. Played basketball for fun and garden. And his actor's favorite talent was talented at everything at riding the range. Thank you.
Acrostic poem by Matthew Hansel. For fun, my dad played army and enjoyed camping. All my dad's faves were tie-dye shirts and bell-bottom pants. The movies cost 25 cents and his favorite actor was Dean Martin. His historical event was the first man on the moon. Eventually, he moved all throughout California for his dad's jobs. Robert Hansel was born in Merced, California, and was born in 1954. Thank you.
Acrostic poem by Rachel Bratton. Going to the movies and watching Clark Gable was only 50 cents. Riding four-wheelers and fishing is what she liked to do for fun. At night, she would read Stephen King, and her favorite book was The Stand. Night and day, she loved painting beautiful pieces of art. Did watch the horrifying moments of 9/11. Might have worn a can under her dress because that was the style. A trip to Seaport, Louisiana, makes her remember the smell of swamp and seeing green everywhere. Vicki Lynn Bratton was born in Guyman, Oklahoma on January 14, 1949. Thank you.
Acrostic poem for my grandpa by Emma Place. Born on June 20th, 1953 in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, his parents named him Dale Arnold Stinsberg. Usually tells crazy stories and tells the grandkids about the Vietnam War and his favorite movie star John Wayne, and how movies were 50 cents. Many siblings in his family with 7 brothers and 3 sisters, and he always had long hair and wore his Letterman jacket. Patience was a virtue when he took a 4-hour trip to Hayward, Wisconsin, where he did many of his favorite hobbies like fishing and camping. And for fun, he goes curly and once got an 8 in, which is really hard. And on Saturdays, he would go to dances, and sometimes he would also read his favorite book, The Civil War, by Shelby Foote. Thank you.
Acrostic poem for my grandpa Dale by David Johnson. Going to the movies was 50 cents, and his favorite movie star was John Wayne. Robert Del Muro is his full name. Always for fun, he went to the movies with friends. No special talent. Doesn't remember a time in his life when he wasn't farming. Playing ball was his hobby. Also experienced the World War tornado. Does remember a trend was greaser style. A trip to Arkansas was the longest one he ever took. Loved to read Western stories and experienced the end of World War II. Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is an acrostic poem about my granny, Leslie Michelle Sheelight, by Rihanna Clark. She was good at dance, gymnastics, and sewing. When she was younger, her favorite actress was John Wayne. Remembers that movies were 50 cents, and her favorite books were Murphy's Boy and One Child. Always rode her bike and played football with friends and wore hip huggers, tube tops, and played with yo-yos and skip-bo. Never forgets about her 7 grandchildren and 3 kids, and that she's been in education for 19 years. Never forgets the landing on the moon and when she went to Kansas City, Missouri to see family and go to the zoo. Yukon is where she lives now, but she was born in Medicine Lodge, Kansas on September 18th, 1961. Thank
An
you.
acrostic poem for my grandpa by Cammy Robbie. Grandpa was born on October 30th, 1941 in Sterling, Kansas. Rodney James Mustard is my grandpa, and he read Big Red and Flicka when he was my age. He remembers when movies were 50 cents too. Also, he remembers Man Walking on the Moon when Kennedy was assassinated in 9/11. Noticed all of the new trends and liked to hang out with his friends while looking cool. Doing things with family, working, watching movies with Jay and Dean and them are things he did. Pikes Peak in Colorado are where he went to visit with his family. Air conditioning and refrigeration is what he always wanted to help do, and now he is still working on them.
Acrostic poem by Logan East. Grandma's name is Karen Stanford. She is always ready to enjoy baking and word searches. She always enjoys herself whenever she goes to Florida. She never hates sewing and knitting as her hobbies. She was due on the date of 1850. My grandma was born in Enid, Oklahoma. Amazed to remember when movies were 25 cents.
Good afternoon. Acrostic poem from my abuela, that means grandpa in Spanish. April 3rd, 1944 is when he was born. Books that are his favorite are the Bible and Lynn Penguin. Unbelievable historical event that he saw was the assassination of Francisco Villa. Eats beans because they are his favorite. Leaving his house to go to San Luis Potosi to deliver a shipment of cheese. It took 14 hours, longest trip he ever took. Ontiveros, Guerrero, Mexico was where he was born. Jorge Alberto Rios Rodriguez is his full name. Other important fact he wanted to be a doctor. Red is his favorite color. Game that he played for fun was baseball. Everything that he did for a trend was go to the theater with his friends and wear flannel. I would like to share my grandma's poem in Spanish. A jugar con cuerda para saltar y caminar sobre los carriles del tren fueron los tendencias que hice. Biblia y las historias de México son mis libros preferidos. Una persona que era mi favorito, que era famoso, es Emilio Navarra, y películas costaron 100 pesos. En el día de diciembre 22, 54, yo nací. Las cosas que hice para la diversión era bailar y leer. A una ciudad que se llamaba Casas Grande, Chihuahua, México, es donde nací. Mi favorito color es morado. A leer y bailar fueron mis aficiones. Recuerda asesinado de pronto de ser presidente Luis Donald Colosio. Y hilo de punto, ver telenovelas son mis cosas que me gustan hacer también. Hacer deliciosas tortillas los hace cada 8 días. A un lugar que fui fue Zacatecas, México. Tardó 14 horas y la ciudad fue historia, artística y era preciosa. Thank you.
Ingrid told me her grandparents lived in Mexico. I told her, don't be surprised if they walk through the door. They didn't walk through the door because that's quite a journey for them to make. But I always embrace anyone that knows more than one language in the United States. She speaks very good English, but she's gifted enough to know Spanish as well. Anytime you can know more than one language, it will serve you one time or another in your lifetime, I feel. So I very much appreciate her doing that and having the wanting to share with you as well. Pretty good group of kids, I bet you know that. And a lot of you got to come today. I'd like you to, if you have someone here for you today other than me, I'd like you to go stand by your person or people. And that concludes our program for today. You all are welcome to visit. It looks like the sun is actually shining. I wasn't sure when it started off this morning, but we needed the rain, so it's all good. Just so it's cleared out for the car show. Not that, yeah. I moved on to that. Anyway,
I'm very happy to end things like this. I think it's very important to the schoolwork that they do, and we as grandparents or parents showing interest on their behalf.
Well, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. They did all the work. But we've been talking about a lot of things already, and they have to listen to me talk about the future for them, because I tell them I didn't get my age for nothing. I know it's anything, but it is important for them to learn to speak in front of a group of people. Whether they're nervous or not, they don't, that's not even an issue. They need to be able to do it, because not all of you are self-made millionaires at 15. So you're probably going to get a job before long, or play sports, or talk with the coach, whatever you need to do. You need to be able to look them in the eye and speak with them. So I think that's very important. So it helped me out. I can be loud. And Rachel can be loud already, so she's getting it going on. But every one of them did a very good job. And like I say, with Ingrid being able to speak 2 languages, she's going to be able to help people from a long time to come. So it's all good. Welcome to our acrostic poem presentation for Grandparents' Day and/or / Special Person Day. We have worked very hard. They have worked very hard on preparing their poems for you. It started with an interview, which hopefully you had. They're pretty creative, but I think really they did end up talking with you. So from the interview, we worked on a poem to share some interesting and amazing facts about the lives that you all have had so far. So, without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Sunderland. He's here this afternoon. He's our principal. And what do you want to tell him?
Not a whole lot, other than the fact that I think these students have worked extremely hard. Mrs. Phillips has done this for several years, a lot of years, and I think the students enjoy doing it. It gives them another aspect of what they have to do in order to communicate through language arts. And they have to write, they have to communicate verbally, they have to do a lot of different things. And I always enjoy coming in and watching this. I haven't been, this is the first time today I've been in here, but I really enjoy it. And I welcome you guys here. And also, you are welcome to come to our school and observe anytime you'd like to come in. You know, you can just come in and come to the office, and you can walk around the school and observe things that are going on. So I'll be quiet and let them get started.
Okay, thank you very much. Without further ado, I think we should begin, because it's all about them, which is all about you. So we shall begin.
This is my acrostic poem by Sandra Fragoso. Amelia Luna is her name, and she was born on January 5th. Memories are terrible, like shootings in her hometown of Great Bend, Kansas. Enjoys reading The Principal, loves to do hair such as braids and buns. Involved in the Cinco de Mayo celebration each year. Anyways, remembers movies being $4.52. Loves Fernando Collodi and what he does. Used baggy pants and tall shoes when younger. Never really liked to travel, but when she did, she went to Denver. Always for fun, she would draw and cook.
Thank you. This is my acrostic poem by Amy Chapman. Good with animals and farm equipment. Remembers when movies were 10 cents and Gene Autry and Roy Rogers were alive. Athletic, loved to run and jump through fields. No shoes in summer, boots in winter, jeans and button-up shirts. Dean Chapman. One of my favorite people. For example, loving, kind, happy yet serious, and fun. Papa. Has five kids of his own. Was married to a wonderful woman who passed away. And then was blessed to remarry, who I call Nana. And in total there are 28 great-grandkids. Agricultural books and history books are his favorite. Thank you.
This is Maddie. Thanks so much.
Here's Miss Towie.
Thank you. What? Nebraska, Grandparent, Jason, Mary, Aunt, Joy, and a parent and hers. Thank you.
Poem by Nathan Hunt. Pahuska is where my grandpa was born. Always for fun, he liked horseshoes and hunting. Favorite book was West Side Story. Playing football was a talent he had. Also, cruising Main Street was a fad he had. He also had 3 kids. Remembering the OKC bombing was not fun. At the movies, it cost $1 to get in, and his favorite movie stars were John Wayne and Tom Hanks. You would like him. He is kind-hearted and likes to share, and Nashville was the longest trip for him. Thank you.
This is my acrostic poem by Delaney Lambert. Goes by the name Virginia Lambert. Reading is one of her favorite things. When she was my age, she would ride her bike to the library and read for hours. Anytime she sees a computer, she remembers when they were first invented and how big they were. Now and then she tells us how she remembers when color TV first came out and how excited she was. During the time that she was in school, she sang in the choir, but band was still what she loved most. Movies used to cost 25 cents, and she would always get a pickle for 5 cents and eat it during the movie. All the way through middle school, high school, and college, she played the flute very well in band. Very many of the girls when she was my age wore tiny pins on their collars, wore Dr. Kildare shirts, carried train cases as purses, and they all listened to the Beatles. In the 7th grade, the Beatles became famous and soon became her favorite stars. She watched them on the Ed Sullivan Show and once spent her allowance to buy a picture of them. Roller skating around her dad's gas station and around the rest of Buffalo, Oklahoma was one of her favorite things to do. Going bike riding and roller skating were 2 of her hobbies. Her other hobbies included reading, playing the flute, and 4-H. Important facts about her include the fact that she is a grandmother. Now she looks back and remembers when the Cuban Missile Crisis happened. Is very fond of the trip she took to Illinois with her grandma when she was 15. She met all of her German relatives and took her first train ride. She was very impressed with the big train station and the tall skyscrapers in the city. Although she read many books, the High Boys series was her favorite. Thank you.
Poem by Catherine Ryerson. She gardens whenever she has time to, and her favorite flower are yellow roses. Reading is one of her favorite things to do. Almost every day, she likes to play the piano. She never liked cats, but had 3 dogs whenever she was younger. December 23, 1946 is my grandmother's birthday. She was born in Chattanooga, Oklahoma. Movies only cost 25 cents to get in. She always loved to watch baseball, and the Yankees were her favorite team. She listened to Bobby Darin when she was young. She is a fun person and is always up for anything. Zipping around the house, she would roller skate. Thank you.
This poem by Johnny Flynn. Great person to look up to and is an amazing person. Remembers when she went to Feather River in California and when she fished there and caught her dad with the hook on the net. Also, painting and gardening are her talent. November 23rd, 1949 was the day she was born in Hollywood, California. Dodgeball, Foursquare, and jacks were her favorite things to do. She built her own skateboard and also her own garden. Mother, daughter, and woman who loves her neighbors and family. And her full name is Suzanne Marie Sherrill. Saturday and Sunday, the movies cost $0.10. And the rest of the week, it cost 75 cents. And her favorite movie star was Paul Newman and Cary Grant. Unlike the books you heard of, the Black Stallion series were her favorite books. Zebras weren't really her favorite animal, and her friends' trends were in the 60s, and they wore long dresses and long hair. Not a day would go by that you didn't see her being nice to everybody. November, when President Kennedy was murdered, she was in history class in high school. She also shot a satellite at the sky and started boating in 1969 when she was 21. Every now and then, she likes to sew and cook, and her hobby is gardening. Thank you.
Poem by Madison Buckley. Guns are a special talent of his, and he's teaching me how to shoot them. Rock throwing was a way to pass the time as a kid. Alva General Hospital was where my grandpa was born. Never left the state at my age. The farthest he went was Enid in a white station wagon. During the time of 1969 to 1971, he was in the U.S. Armed Forces, including a year in the Vietnam. Paisley shirts and bell-bottoms are what trends he went through. He never wore them to school, though. At around junior high age, my grandpa found out John F. Kennedy had been shot while walking to the high school for a play. Loves all his kids and grandkids and is proud of every one of them. Even though he doesn't hunt anymore, he did as a young boy. Riding bikes was what he did as a child. Of course, John Wayne was his favorite actor. Yes, movies only did cost 25 cents when he was a kid. Thank you.
And this is my acrostic poem for Patricia Fuzel. My grandma's full name is Patricia K. Fuzel, which is an amazing name, but I prefer to call you Mima. Every day she wore bell-bottoms or a big flower dress, made really long trips to San Diego, California to visit her grandparents. Along with cheerleading, my grandma was a big band nerd, and she played the flute. Periodically, she remembered the space shuttle called the Challenger blew up, and she also remembered 9/11. After the year of 1969, my Mima was turning 10 years old because she was born on February 27, 1960 in Salina, Kansas. Today, it costs about $7 to watch a movie, but when my Mima was my age, it cost about $1, and she loved many actors, but her favorite actor is John Travolta. Thank you.
A poem by Cole Worsig about my grandma Levon. Games on the farm with her twin sister was how she spent her time. Remembered the John F. Kennedy assassination. Attended the movie theater for 50 cents or $1. Nominated and won Teacher of the Year for Alva, Oklahoma in Woods County. Did love the actors Elizabeth Taylor and Debbie Reynolds. My grandma's full name is Levon Marion Hazen Worsig. After she read one book, she read another until she couldn't read anymore. Levon played tenor saxophone, went to districts, and received ones with her bandmates. At Alva, Oklahoma, she taught as a school teacher for 37 years. Her very longest drive was when she was 13 years old. Her family took her and her sister to Colorado Springs, Colorado. The drive took 9 hours, and she visited the zoo. Thank you.
Poem by Tanner Quinlan and is for Grandma. Grew up reading her favorite books by Zane Grey. Remembers listening to the radio broadcast about Pearl Harbor. Attended a private Quaker school and sang in the choir. Never went to the movies because it was against her Quaker religion. Did have polio at age 10. She was also one of the first people in Colorado to be vaccinated. Meet friends to go ice skating, which was one of her hobbies. Answers to many names, but I call her Grandma. Longest trip she ever took was from Colorado to the middle of Kansas. It was very hot, so they usually traveled at night. You would be interested to hear some of her stories about when she traveled with the choir. The neatest thing, me and my grandma were born in the same town, just 62 years apart. Necessary information was learned about raising cows while she was in 4-H. Every new thing she learns about the brain helps her with the children she takes care of. Thank you.
Poem by Baylor Wren. Mimi is what I call this beautiful woman, but her real name is Bonnie Mae Whitaker Garnett. I love her even though she was born in Fairview, Oklahoma, home of the Yellow Jackets, on November 8, 1945. Married her husband, Waldo Galen Garnett, Dub, at age 18 on October 1st, 1964. I loved him. We would watch our cowboy shows, but sadly that ended because he passed away on January 25th, 2007. Interesting fact, her special talents were that she was good at sports, but Woodward didn't have girls organize sports. So she did barrel racing, and her horse's name was Blue. Bonnie and her friends would cruise up and down Main Street. Then every so often they would stop and talk. She also loved to water ski. Their fads were saddle shoes and poodle skirts. On November 22nd, 1963, my grandma was home from school for lunch when JFK was shot and killed. Now movies are $7. Back then, they were 25 cents. And her favorite stars were Rock Hudson and Doris Day. Now she reads all types of books on her Kindle. But back when she was younger, she loved to read Black Beauty. Interesting fact, her mother is still living at age 92. She is the second child of 4, 2 brothers and 1 sister. Everybody in her family went on a vacation to Eagles Nest, Colorado, a 2-day drive pulling a travel trailer behind them. While they were there, they camped, hiked, and fished. And they bathed in a freezing cold creek with trout swimming up and down the creek. Thank you.
Poem by Dominic Minhadi. Gone to cosmetology school. Really enjoy sewing as a hobby and for fun. As a child, had 1 brother and 4 sisters. Never really liked to read as a child, even now. Does like dogs. She has 2 dogs. Makes amazing food. At El Paso, Texas on October 25th, 1951, she was born. Raised 3 kids, 1 girl and 2 boys. When they lived in El Paso, her family couldn't afford a long trip. Some of the trends as she was younger was disco. Almost all of her life lived by the border of Mexico. Thank you.
This is my acrostic poem for my Papa David, and it's by Rebecca Abraham. He paid 25 cents to go to the movies, and his favorite actor is John Wayne. A long time ago, back in his days, the fashion then was long hair, clogs, bell-bottoms, and pigs in hair. Papa's favorite book to read is The Hobbit, Texas, and To Kill a Mockingbird. Andrews, Texas to Lake of Pines, Texas was the longest drive for him as a child. He went with his stepdad, mom, and brother, who was my uncle, Andy, to see their aunt. David F. Abraham is my grandpa's name. Phrase Papa likes to say is, I'm a river to my people. He remembers when Voyager left our galaxy, the wall of Berlin fell, 9/11 happened, and JFK was shot. In Providence Hospital, Waco, Texas, on January 7, 1959, is where and when Papa was born. Do you know he can memorize many things? As his hobbies are reading and playing music, and for fun, he watches sports. Thank you.
This is my acrostic poem for my wonderful Grandma Paula by Town Lynch. A great woman named Paula Fuquay was born on November 26, 1956 in Hartner, Kansas. Rocking those bell-bottom jeans and clogs, those were her trends back then. Always has been great at crafts and softball. Never quick to anger. Did you go to Arkansas when you were little? She did. It was to see her great-grandma. That was the longest trip she ever took when she was my age. Made sure to always be family-orientated and alive during 9/11 and the assassination of JFK. I love you, Grandma. Thank you.
Custom poem for my papa. Casing, you only knew. Papa was born in Jefferson, Texas on August 20th, 1950. His favorite actor is John Wayne. Papa loves hunting, fishing, and watching TV. He is always been good at farming. Thank you. Well, you survived.
They were a little worried about this whole thing. I usually don't tell them right away we're going to present it because they start dropping like flies, so to speak, but then they come back. They worked really hard on this. Like I say, they gotten an idea what an interview process is like, what it's like to speak in front of people, kind of outside of their element a little bit. Although we speak a lot in class, it's a little different when it's people that they really care about. And sometimes it's hard to talk about themselves, but it's a challenge and also, I think, a blessing to get to talk about someone else. It just broadens their horizons, so to speak. That does conclude our program for today. Thank you so much for coming. If you have someone in the audience, I would like you to go stand by them now and we'll go around and introduce who was able to come today.